Hi everyone, it is Saturday the 6th of February 2021. I'm having a look at the major commodities, starting off with gold. So gold dropped quite heavily this week, bounced off 1800 as potential support, set up with a nice little bullish inside candle. And this week it'll be interesting to see if it can recover from that and head back up towards 1850. Overall, the price action is pretty much sideways at this point. That is a relatively bearish candle, and usually a bearish candle like this hints at another attempt to head lower. That's often the case here. The monthly itself doesn't look as bullish as it did back in December. We did break the high, but now the market has decided to kind of come back down. It doesn't mean potentially it's still in the first week of February. We could find ourselves finishing up with a bullish candle. Excuse me, a bullish candle. That was a nice attractive cough. So we could find ourselves finishing up with a bullish candle. But for me, the moment, what's really kind of going on now is that certainly if the market was bullish, it would have just climbed higher. Therefore, the potential for change, for whatever the outcome is going to be here, is now pretty much on the table. And so what I'm going to be looking for, plan A, is to see the market recover from this, get back over these highs, so head up towards 1879, back up to 1.9. If it continues to break lower, then the game kind of changes. Then once we break through 1800, at that point 1750 becomes a potential target. And so that's really what I'll be looking for. If we do break below this, yes, then there might actually be some good, decent money-making opportunities here. The monthly will then go, breaking these lows over here, the monthly will then go into a downtrend. And so that starts to change the game. That means that shorting gold actually becomes, for me at least, potentially viable for trading opportunities, not for longer term approaches, but for shorter term intraday opportunities. At the same time, should we manage to recover back up above this and close with a bullish candle for this month, then the likelihood is that that longer term trend is potentially still intact. Having a look at silver. So silver has had a really nice burst up, pretty much as we anticipated was a possibility. It had a solid bump to head up against 30, fell right back down, has produced a bullish candle this side of 26, on the top side of 26. So actually this one has set itself up as a potential opportunity if we break the high of Friday's candle to continue back up towards 30. The weekly candle doesn't really give away that much. The monthly is showing that there's a nice rejection of 30. So what you really have here is a potential resistance on the monthly at 30, but at the same time that daily looks as though it's going to really take another run at that. If that's the case and it manages to do that, gold might also manage to push a little bit higher. Look here, copper managed to finish back over the line at 3.6. That's pretty cool. That weekly candle looks really nice and bullish. So again, this is actually now looking a little bit more bullish, like it wants to continue and push a little bit higher. The monthly, as I said, is just overextended. It's overdue for a correction, but overall it looks more bullish than bearish. Just a little bit overextended. So again, here I'll be looking to see if we could continue this one up and break above some of these highs, maybe reach 3.7 by the end of the week, or break higher. That would be a really nice follow through. We really just have, but that's a potential. So the weekly one here giving sort of the clearest signal that it would like to at least attempt to continue higher. Let's have a look at platinum. So platinum also back up at its levels of resistance, very strong resistance at this level. Very clear resistance over here. Also a nice little bullish candle closing a little bit higher, so that looks bullish. We've also got above this level. We're still within the range of this previous indecision candle, but we are looking more bullish than bearish. So that's good. So both platinum and copper, they're leaning towards the upside rather than anywhere else. Palladium actually stopping at the bottom of its range on the monthly here and bouncing off that, producing an inside bullish candle, breaking above that. We'll give it an opportunity to retest 2,400 and potentially close within that. Alternatively, should they produce a bearish candle on Monday, it might be looking to take another run to the downside. But I would say it's consolidated nicely. I'd like to think 55.45 that it's going to climb to the upside rather than the downside. Just that little bit more. And so actually all of that really indicates that there is, if that is the case, that gold might actually manage to work its way back up to the upside. So let's see if that's the case. I'd love for there to be some good money-making opportunities on the horizon soon. And once gold can pick a direction outside of its monthly ranges, that will give us some good, decent opportunities. So moving on to oil. So oil is now, again, would love to see this come back, test 54 for support. find some bullish candle and continue on. That's a really nice weekly breakout candle. So it did consolidate and then show up bullish and then break out to the upside. Didn't come back down to test this level for support, but a nice little breakout to the upside. That monthly trend still intact. In fact, now $60 is pretty much within reach. So again, I'd like to see it continue on with that. If there is a correction, that might be a buying or entry opportunity for end of day trading, and then a continuation up to 60 at this point in time. Same will be for Brent Crude, no difference here. There's a little bit, it's almost at 60 already. Pullbacks here could provide me with some buying opportunities if we take another run up to that level. I'd notice a little bit of flatness and a little bit of bearish divergence on those indicators, but otherwise the price action itself is not looking that bad at all. Like crude oil, also same thing, it's broken above 55, it's potentially got its eye on 60, which is a nice weekly level. Nice little bullish candle here, not overextended, not necessarily that overextended. Monthly now above a big level, so that actually has got potentially 60 as well as higher on its target. So that's pretty cool. All of that showing that possibility for it to continue higher. Any kind of pullbacks, especially on the daily and 4 hourly, could present buying opportunities to the upside. Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has enjoyed a nice correction. I think that was a decent bit of a correction. I spoke last week about how that would, on the weekly, would satisfy certain criteria. The monthly, again, I stand by my assessment that this is bubble kind of territory. We're a little bit overextended here, but when that correction is going to come is a little bit difficult to tell at this time, because I need an entire monthly candle to show some rejection. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get beyond the highs of January. But so far this is looking good in isolation. The weekly has had a nice consolidation, lots of energy it's managed to recoup, and now it's looking to potentially try and go higher. So it's what I'm going to be looking for this week, is to see how it reacts at this 40,000 level, and if it does do any pullbacks and take any other runs to that level, or if it continues on to the upside for that one. Ethereum being much less overvalued by comparison, but now definitely overextended past its previous level, previous highs. That's great. Is definitely overextended again, bubble territory on the right hand side on the monthly, and that weekly didn't even really come back to connect. So of the two, compared to Bitcoin, this one had a lot more energy to expend. Here, any kind of pullbacks in here could provide some buying opportunities. So this is a great example of when kind of the longer term view presents hints at a bubble. The weekly has not really connected with the moving averages, is starting to become parabolic, and that daily looks fantastic. It really, in isolation, daily looks really nice and bullish. I'm just noting here that MACD is starting to trend a little bit lower, the RSI is starting to go a bit flat and down. All of this hinting at the possibility that in that near future, which could be in the next 3-4 weeks, there could be a potential failure, and then this could find its way hitting a little bit low. But I would say in some ways Ethereum is trying to catch up to Bitcoin in terms of value. And we'll have to see. So once they're both sort of on the same playing field, once we feel that Ethereum is there could be some, then it would be a question of, okay, which one is going to give us clues as to when the exhaustion is kind of coming in. So initially, I'm going to be potentially looking for any pullbacks for buying opportunities here. Just a little bit cautious because of the longer term overextension. So it just means reducing risk, potentially taking profit at 1-to-1, and just not being surprised if suddenly there is a significant drop in the market, because that kind of the sort of mini shock waves that can happen will start to occur more frequently when the market is in these kinds of conditions. There we go. Thank you very much.